Good morning, greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 33 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we're here for you. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, ingredients, formulations, something you may have heard about, read about, 844-236-6010 is our number. And if you have a comment or success story, or if you'd just like to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. Purchase longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also check out our blog and news stories and videos at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, silicone oil. Nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. We've got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Julie Katz is going to be talking to us about sugar cravings. She's got some ideas about how to bust sugar cravings, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about what they are. I've been talking about protein and sugar cravings for a long time. I'm kind of curious to see what Dr. Julie has to say. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. We'll get to your phone calls in our next segment, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. We have been talking about, well, we started off talking about diagnoses and fibromyalgia as a poster child for what's wrong with the diagnostic model, where you go into the doctor and you get interviewed and he checks out your symptoms and then he puts it together and gives you a diagnosis. That's called the diagnostic model. And it really only got going maybe about 150 years ago, but it started probably 200-300 years ago. Basically, it's this idea that you get treated on your based on your diagnosis, which is not a bad idea compared to how it used to be, but nonetheless, it doesn't really serve us, and proof positive of that is the fact that we got lots of diagnoses and we're sicker than ever before. Lots of doctors giving us diagnoses and we're sicker than ever before. And if you give a diagnosis, certain diagnoses, and you're not a doctor or you're not licensed as a doctor, you can go to jail for that. Diagnosis is that's the holy grail. Doctors are very possessive of the right to diagnose, but you don't need diagnosis to get better. And that's the whole point. I call it the tyranny of the diagnosis. We believe that we are our diagnosis. We believe that the diagnosis is the guiding light by which we should be treated. We believe that because we've been conditioned to believe it, but it doesn't. It's like a meme. It's a classic example of a meme. It doesn't stand up to scrutiny. You don't need a diagnosis to feel better. If you're sick, you want to feel better. You don't need a diagnosis to feel better. And a diagnosis is nothing more than a description of what's happening in the body anyway. It's not like it's a special class of thing. It's just a process. So fibromyalgia is just muscle pain, period. How they diagnose it specifically is completely arbitrary. They pinch you here and they pinch you there. And if you scream, they say, oh, you got fibromyalgia. Now, what is it that causes the generalized pain associated with fibromyalgia? Well, the fact is that when you have this kind of inflammatory pain head to toe, you got something in your blood. Okay, that's just biochemical logic. The fact that is also that most fibromyalgia patients are women, and whenever that occurs, you want to suspect estrogen, the female hormone estrogen. And we have a problem with estrogen. Estrogen is a very misunderstood molecule, by the way. A lot of people think it's a molecule of youth. A lot of doctors think it's a molecule of youth. Far from that. Far, far from that. It is genotoxic. Reading here from the book Endogenous Toxins. It's a textbook. It's not easy reading necessarily, but there's a whole chapter here on causes of estrogen genotoxicity. When they say causes, that means it's not broken down correctly. Estrogen is not broken down correctly. Estrogen is a hormone and is obviously functional, and it's made throughout nature. Plants make estrogens. Estrogens is actually a family of molecules that have lots of rings on them. I don't want to get all chemistry geek on you here, but lots of rings can be a problem. Lots of rings can be good. Lots of rings can be very potent. And lots of rings is basically what estrogen is. It's got lots of rings. When I say ring, think about your high school chemistry where you had those benzene ring things. They're very cool, by the way, those benzene ring things. But if you're not a chemist, you don't need to know that. You just need to know that estrogen is very, very, very potent, powerful. And it has to be cleaned out of the body quickly. And it is cleaned out of the body quickly when we're healthy. It's not when we're not healthy. Phase 1, Phase 2 detoxification, we talked about that yesterday, how Phase 1, Phase 2 requires the liver to be healthy. 80 million Americans have NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which means they're not going to be detoxifying their estrogen. Sugar, insulin, blood sugar and insulin play a major role in NAFLD, and they also play a major role in estrogenic health challenges. So one of the most important things you could do if you're dealing with an estrogenic health challenge, everything from menopausal symptoms to autoimmunity to fibromyalgia, is keep your blood sugar stable. Yesterday we talked about how important the digestive system is for improving, helping your body detoxify. Phase 1, some people consider the first phase of detoxification to be the intestine and intestinal clearance, and probiotics play a major role in detoxification. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future they find out that the probiotics, the good bacteria in the intestine, play just as an important role as liver enzymes when it comes to detoxification. But for now, there's probably a major role between those two. So if you have SIBO, S-I-B-O, you're going to be more likely to have problems with detox and more likely to have problems with estrogen. And that means cancer and endometriosis. If you have endometriosis and they want to take out your female organs before they work on your detoxification system, that's criminal. That's awful. That's a terrible thing to do to your fellow human being. Not that we're not complicit in it, because we are. If you know anybody who's thinking about having their female organs removed before they work on Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 detoxification. That is intestinal health, probiotics, and then Phase 2 and 3 in the liver, depending on how you look at it. You can call it Phase 1 and 2, whatever. B vitamins, iron, copper, magnesium, selenium, vitamin C, vitamin E, glutathione. There's so many different ways that you can jack up your liver's ability to detox. Cruciferous vegetables, onions, shallots, garlic. I mean, it's nearly endless the ways that you can support liver health, not to mention the things that you don't want to be doing or the things you want to avoid doing. This is all for people who are going to have their organs removed. This is all to protect against breast cancer. This is all to protect against ovarian cancer and uterine cancer. This is all to protect against fibroids and cysts. This is all to protect against migraine headaches. This is all to protect against generalized pain, the pain of fibromyalgia. You can throw anxiety and depression and emotional lability in there too. You see all the things all the different ways we can benefit our health by simply focusing on liver detox of estrogen and how we handle estrogen. As important as this female hormone is, it's a major locus of control. Estrogen metabolism is a major locus of control for health for men and women, but most especially for women and female health issues. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls here momentarily. Got Dr. Julie Gatzis coming up at the bottom of the hour with her 5-step strategy to help beat sugar cravings. Sugar is a major bad guy when it comes to health. When it comes to estrogen health, too, there's a real important relationship between insulin, blood sugar, and estrogen. And if you want to control your estrogen, and I highly suggest anybody who's dealing with a chronic long-term health challenge does that, in addition to working on digestive health, bile, the liver, how your body processes fats and fatty vitamins and fatty minerals. All of that is part of the estrogen system, fatty vitamins, fatty minerals. In addition to all of that, keeping your blood sugar under control is very, very important, and that's your triangle of disease. You know, estrogen is the tip of the triangle of disease. That's a stress hormone. And as we know, the triangle of disease is the blood sugar system and the digestive system and the stress management system, and estrogen is a key player in the stress management system. So that estrogen fits into the triangle of disease perfectly, and from estrogen and disturbed estrogen metabolism, that's where you get into hypothyroidism. This is why hypothyroidism is largely a female condition, because of the relationship of hypothyroidism to estrogen or bad estrogen metabolism, or the accumulation of bad estrogen. This is a missing component to all hypothyroid treatment. It needs to be treated as an estrogen issue. That means the blood sugar and the digestive system, among other things. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. We got Dr. Julie Gatzis coming up at the bottom of the hour. Let's say good morning to Pat in Minnesota. What's up, Pat? How you doing? Thanks for calling the bright side.
Hey, Pharmacist Ben.
Yes.
I have a question for you on my wife. She has toenail fungus.
Toenail fungus is the body eliminating or excreting fungus through the nail. It's a very handy tool for the body to get rid of fungus. So by the time you see the fungus in the nail, if you could look at a nail, fingernail or toenail, you could look at it under a microscope, you'd see it was layered. Many, many, many layers. And each of those layers provides a perfect, ideal spot for fungus. And so fungus is actually excreted through these channels, these nail channels, on the toes or on the finger, usually on the toes, not really on the fingers very often. But the thing is, the major element is what's called dysbiosis. That means messed up bacteria. Bacteria and fungus live in balance in the body. And under conditions of chlorine, the presence of chlorine, antibiotics, poor diet, all of these conspire to change bacteria, the way bacteria proliferate in the intestine. And at that point, you can get into fungal overgrowth. If you're killing off your bacteria, the fungus overgrows. Then you throw in sugar, and fungus loves sugar, and you've got a perfect storm for lots of fungus in the body, or a systemic fungal infection. People call it candida, but really it's just general fungus, although candida is probably involved. Number one, work on the digestive system. Most important, surprise, surprise. Number two, work on the blood sugar system. You're dealing with your triangle of disease. I would do something called the yeast. I forgot what it's called, actually, but there's a book by Dr. William Crook, the anti-yeast diet or something along those lines. And he has a lot of good dietary recommendations, but basically it's low sugar. Ketogenic diet is probably the best way to do it. Interestingly, coconut oil contains contains an antifungal component or antifungal constituent called lauric acid. So coconut oil, which is a part of the ketogenic diet, or can be a part of the ketogenic diet, is a nice strategy for taking care of fungus. Although you don't want to just do the coconut oil, you want to follow the whole program. That is low carb diet, and then protect the gut and use probiotics and good bacteria. All right, Pat, I'm going to motivate here because I want to get to a few more calls. Let's say hi to our friend, the Truth Raider. What's going on, Truth Raider?
Benjamin, part two. I'm getting electrocuted.
Yes. What's up, sir?
I'm getting electrocuted.
What's going on? Carl, you got to get to the point here. Yeah, get to the point.
I was using a metal broom handle to clear out some spider webs up in the corner of my roof on the patio doing some cleaning, and I had a cell phone in my pocket, but it didn't have the service, but it was, it is a cell phone I just use for pictures, etc. And I felt this strong, it felt like a spider bite, strong electrical burning pain in my pocket. And then, it was strange. What in the world was that? I had to stop and pull it out of my pocket. My leg was burning, but it was gone instantly within 2 seconds.
You got tased by your cell phone. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then I was standing here just a few days ago. I had a burning electrical pain like I was being tased in my ankle.
You've been having little complaints like that for a while now, Truth Raider. Those are all indicative of some kind of inflammation at the level of the nerves, and that's a connective tissue problem. Carl, I want to motivate here, but you got to work on your connective tissue. It sounds like there's stuff pressing where it shouldn't be pressing and inflamed where it shouldn't be inflamed, because it's kind of a consistent theme. I want to get a couple more calls in, but you should either send me an email or give me a call or something, because that's something sounding pretty significant there, Carl, the Truth Raider. I want to get Lydia on, because I promised you Lydia, and I'm running out of time, but I promised I would get you up. What's going on there, my dear? Oh, you want to talk retinol?
Yes, that's correct, 5%.
Okay. My Truth Retinol 5% gel specifically.
Right.
Okay, how long have you been using it?
I just got it. That's why I'm calling. I was concerned about the sun because, I remember from years ago, you're not supposed to go in the sun when you use retinol, and I wanted to know if
that's not true. That's not true at all. The sun amps things up. It turns things on. Retinol turns things on. So if you use retinol, excuse me a second, use retinol and you go out in the sun, you may turn things on too much, and that's not a good thing. Does that make sense?
Sure.
The sun hypes things up. The sun is very important for cell growth, cell division, also for healing. Retinol does the same thing. In fact, the retinol and the sun work by similar mechanisms, so you may be getting too much stimulation. That's the thing. It's not like there's a terrible reaction between retinol and the sun. It's just you might be hyping up. You get what I'm saying here?
Well, I won't worry about the sun then, but now...
Well, you don't want to... No, listen.
Yeah.
Retinol's like lifting weights. If you just got out of the hospital and you never lifted weights before, you're a little old lady, you never lifted weights, and you go on the bench press, are you going to lift 225 pounds all of a sudden? No. You're going to build yourself up slowly. Retinol is like lifting weights. So you just got to watch what you're doing. You don't want to overlift, but you don't want to not lift. You don't want to over-exercise, but you don't want to not exercise.
What can I do to prepare to use it? So what can I do?
First of all, stay healthy. Do all the good things that we talk about on this program. But the skin is especially receptive to essential fatty acids and fats. When you don't have enough fats, your skin becomes sensitive. Do you follow what I'm saying? When you don't have enough fats, and that means when you don't take them or when you don't absorb them. Just because you take them doesn't mean you don't absorb them. They got to go into the blood to get into the skin. Without EFAs in the skin, EFAs are literally stored in the skin and in skin cells. Without EFAs in the skin, you'll be more prone towards problems with retinol, problems with the sun, problems with foods, and you will not blame any of the. You will not blame the EFAs. You'll blame the retinol and the sun.
You know how you always say to take 9 pills a day for like if you take an EFA pills
minimum.
Right. I mean, does Uda's oil count as when you're like
Uda's
having a salad?
Yeah, absolutely. Put some Udo's oil with some vinegar, dip your cucumbers in there, and spices, salt and pepper. Delicious. Lydia, I got to go. Thanks for your call.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Truth Retinol 5% gel at truthtreatments.com. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back with Dr. Julie Getza right after this. We're back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You can check out our blog and videos and news stories and blog posts as well. And also the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments, plural.com. All right, I am very excited to have our next guest on. Health educator Dr. Julie Getza is going to give us her 5-step strategy, her simple 5-step strategy for beating sugar cravings. You know, we talk about sugar all the time on this program. Just talked about it on our last with our last caller, or one of our last callers, about candida and sugar. And Julie's got lots of good things to say about this real bad guy in our culture, glucose or sugar. Sugar's not all bad, though, right, Julie?
It's not all bad. It comes in fruits, and when you eat your carbohydrates, it changes into sugar. So your body needs sugar. It's just a lot of times people are craving. They feel like they have no more willpower, and they can't get off, wanting the sugar and sort of the craziness on it. And it's a lot of times, or often, because there's a overgrowth of candida in the digestive system, and candida needs sugar to live. So it's them basically saying, hey, we have to have it, and you have no control.
Well, hang on now. Are you saying that the cause of sugar cravings is candida? You're not saying
Often.
the only cause. What's that?
Yes, often.
You're saying that's the only cause?
Nope, just a large portion of what's going on with people.
Gotcha. So, what other causes are there for sugar cravings? Not just sugar intake, like where you absolutely positively have to have sugar. You're going nuts if you don't have it.
Yeah, it depends on what is the cause, but some of it is just a bad habit of not feeding yourself, 3 good meals a day, and your blood sugar drops. So you have to have sugar to bring it up quickly. Yeah, that's the case in, a hypoglycemic or a diabetic. And, people with poor eating habits in general will crave more sugars than people who eat 3 meals a day.
So your strategy, or one of your strategies, I imagine, as a chiropractor, is to have people address their candida issues.
Yes, you have to, because if you don't, you have this underlying situation happening that makes a lot of symptoms and confuses the whole situation. So fixing the actual digestive system and rebalancing what's going on with the yeast and your normal bacteria is vital to get all the other nutrients in properly.
Okay, so in your experience as a chiropractor and as a healthcare professional, what is it that causes the initial candida overgrowth?
Our habits is one of them. We don't have the same type of food our grandparents grew up on. So we have a lot of microwave foods, things with nutrients, a lot of packaged box and cans that we're eating from, and, artificially sweetened stuff. And, that just is one of them. Number 2, if you've ever been on antibiotics, it wipes out not just the bacteria that they were trying to wipe out, let's say for a chronic cough, but it wipes out all your bacteria. So when you don't have a normal balance of good bacteria sitting in your digestive system, that's where the yeast actually says, oh, wow, we don't have anybody to keep us in balance. So the yeast overgrows. This can be just from one time of antibiotics, and most of us have been on it way more than that.
Right. So it's like standard operating procedure to get a yeast infection medicine at the same time as you get your antibiotic for a lot of women.
Pretty much. And, a lot of times it's not such the obvious symptoms that you're going to get with yeast infections. It's things that you just start to think, well, I'm just old, or I'm tired, or I'm this
brain
and that.
fog, skin problems, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. You do get the brain fog, the skin problems. You can have digestive problems. You can have, real fatigue. And then you got the real obvious ones, which is the vaginal yeast infections. You can get jock itch from it, toenail infections. Even babies can have thrush because of the yeast problem.
The nail infection, we get a lot of. I just got a call on it just before you came on the air, actually, about the nail one. People don't realize that's a sign that you have a lot of yeast going. That you have excess amount of fungus in the body, systemic yeast.
That's exactly.
What's the relationship, by the way?
I've been a doctor for 28 years, and treating yeast problems, I've been successful, but it took such a long time that after a while, you really had to have a patient be so patient about it, because it was a 6-month to a 2-year situation to fix it. And with this product that I'm the spokesperson for and use constantly in my office and even in my family, it's a game changer for us.
That's funny you say that, because in pharmacy, the most toxic medicine, or among the most toxic medicines, are the anti-yeast medicines. The systemic Nizoral, I don't know if you've heard of that, it has a reputation for being super toxic because yeast are designed to live. They have they have like coverings on them, little yeast cells. That's right. They're protected. So they're evolutionarily, they're very tough, right? They're very resilient. Right. They don't want to go away. They're made because in nature they fight against bacteria. So they're prepared for the battle against bacteria. Bacteria make anti-yeast compounds, and yeast make antibacterial compounds. They kind of fight each other. In fact, antibiotics come from yeast, from fungus. A lot of antibiotics are direct. Penicillin famously came from fungus. So you've got 5 tips for kicking your sugar cravings, and you're talking about a product now that an anti-yeast product. Why don't you tell us first about these 5 steps? Why don't you tell us first about the product you're talking about?
The product is called Kolorex, and it's Kolorex, and they have.
Okay, what is it? What's the chemistry?
It comes in a capsule, and they also have body washes for it and different things that way. But what it is it's a herb that grows only in New Zealand, and this herb actually has the ability to wipe out yeast colonies. So
is Kolorex the name of the herb, or I'm sorry, Julie. Is Kolorex the herb or a brand name?
The brand name is Kolorex. And
what's the herb
is called Horopito.
How do you spell?
Horopito.
Horopito, and it's an herb that only grows in New Zealand, the Horopito plant.
You got it.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
Put it in a capsule a day, basically, for 30 days, and it really does wipe out the yeast. All the different weird things that you're experiencing, it wipes it out. So now the bacteria can recolonate in the body, and it starts to get more in balance. And, occasionally somebody's needed it for 2 months, but it's been very rare.
The Horopito plant, huh? That's a new one on me. I had not heard of that. Is that now? I
hadn't either.
So I imagine it's been around for a long time. This Kolorex's company has encapsulated it, but has Horopito been used for medicinally from an indigenous point of view, or what's the deal? Was it just discovered? Or do you know?
I think it's been around for a while because they've had the Kolorex for a number of years, but I had never heard of it before we started using it on our.
And Julie, are you there? Huh. I think we lost Julie. So Horopito, I had not heard of this. You learn something new every day. Horopito, are you there, Julie? Okay, Jason, just tell me when Julie's up. Horopito is being marketed for candida overgrowth symptoms, and that includes sugar cravings as well as acne, digestive problems, and mood issues. And I can't say yay or nay because I never heard of it, this Kolorex plant, this Horopito plant, but you learn something new all the time, and I'll have to do a little bit of research on this. Julie's from representing a company called Nature Sources, and you can get her products at naturesources.com, including Kolorex. And perhaps we'll have Julie back when we come back, or if not, we'll just continue talking about fibromyalgia. By the way, there's probably a fungal aspect to fibromyalgia as well. All right, 844-236-6010 if you want to give us a call. I'm not sure if we'll have Julie back or not. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. We're back on The Bright Side. Pharmacist Ben here, and we do have Dr. Julie back. Hello, Dr. Julie. You there?
Hi. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened.
No worries. We lost you. So this Kolorex stuff, this Horopito, as you say, before you left, I was asking, or before you got cut off, I was asking you, is this primarily for candida, or is it primarily for sugar, or is it for both?
It's for both.
Okay, so it works for sugar by working.
When people have a candida problem, it's not such a cut and dried blood test. It's not such a cut and dried easy thing to actually go to the doctor and ask if you have it, because it doesn't show up that way so simply. So what I would tell people that are craving sugar is buy the Kolorex, start taking it.
See what happens.
One a day for 30 days, don't forget. And by the time you're done with the 30 days, any type of overgrowth of yeast is going to be much more manageable, whether it was severe or not. And now you can really get a tackle on the diet.
And this is at naturesources.com.
That's correct. And they can also call a 1-800 number, which is 1-800-827-7656. And if they use the code radio, they can get 20% off their first order.
All right, do that again. Say that one more time.
1-800-827-7656. And use the code radio, and you can get 20% off your first order.
Well, isn't that interesting? If you send me some, you should, and I'll try it, and I'll let people know.
Okay, great.
Well, if you're healthy, you should probably notice benefits anyway, right? Everybody's got probably a little bit of a problem.
If you've been on antibiotics and, you haven't ever addressed that, taking probiotics is always smart, but you do want to handle any of the reason that it's been out of balance at all. And taking a natural herb is not going to cause a problem whatsoever.
Okay, so Horopito is not going to affect your good yeast. You have good yeast too, right? You have a mycobiome in addition to a microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
So Horopita is not going to have effect there.
No, it decreases the overgrowth of the yeast that you don't want in the system. Or, you don't want it overgrown. So.
Well, I think that sounds very interesting. Now, you also have a 5-part strategy, as you say, 5 tips for kicking your sugar cravings. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so one of the first ones is get the Colorex, because it's just the obvious. Another one is eat small, frequent meals. The reason being is when you eat one large meal, you spike your blood sugar. And once you've spiked it and you're all full and you feel great, it's going to crash. And that crash will cause you to want to have more sugar of any kind. If you've ever eaten a big meal and, I don't know, a few hours later you're like, oh, my gosh, I just need something sweet. If you eat more frequent meals throughout the day, you won't let that happen, and it really helps to balance it.
Well, let's I'm not going to debate that, but let me just ask you this. What if you you didn't eat a big meal? What if you ate just one small meal a day?
There's all sorts of ways right now that people are doing the intermittent fasting, and that's a whole different sort of
what do you think of that
situation? I like
for blood sugar.
I like it a lot. I think it resets the person's body. I think it's really good to get the body, no food for some time. And if you have energy and you're feeling fine on it and you're not craving sugars, but along goes with intermittent fasting is not really eating sugars. You don't eat a lot of the carbs, and you don't eat a bunch of the sugar, and all of a sudden the body goes, hey, we can get along with a lot less food.
What about the ketogenic diet?
Also fine. These are all great ideas because we've been so out of control. We've been eating so much junk for so long that it's time to sort of take a look at it.
Yeah, it's like literally for thousands of years we've been eating junk, but especially the last 100 years and 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Okay, so now go ahead. What else?
And so the other one is carry small snack bags. Raising my child and raising her healthy, it really wasn't that big of a deal to cut up some carrots and celery and, put some radishes in a bag and send her on her way. Or, boil some eggs. It takes 13 minutes. And eggs are super easy to travel with. A hard-boiled egg is the perfect food. You're hungry, you crack it, you eat it, throw the shell in the garbage. That's it. It's done. And then nuts. When you do eat nuts, the best way to have nuts is to get them whole, raw, and soak them overnight in a bowl of water. Rinse them in the morning, and you've started the sprouting process of the nuts, and they're much, much healthier for you if you soak them overnight and start
You just
sprouting.
take plain old raw almonds, for example, put them in water, cover them up a little bit with water, and then cover it up. Do you put a cloth on it or something on top of it to keep
I don't,
bacteria?
But I think you're supposed to.
Okay, so you put a cloth on top of it, and you just let it sit, and then in the morning, they're soft, of course, right?
Yes.
But are they as tasty?
They're better. They're snappier. They're plumper. They don't get caught in your teeth, and you eat less of them because they're like puffier. So, and they really taste great that way.
Plus, the life force has been released. You're starting to get more amino acids and less of the enzyme inhibitors and such. Yeah, that's definitely a good strategy. All right, and one more.
You can do the same thing with cashews. But if you do those 3 things with the snack bags, the cut-up vegetables, the nuts, or a hard-boiled egg, you can come up with other things. But I always have people stay away from the carbohydrate-type things and go towards natural stuff.
Tell us about cold turkey.
I wouldn't do cold turkey. I would take your time. If you look in your pantry and your refrigerator, you probably have a bunch of stuff in there that you really shouldn't have in there if you're trying to, get off sugar. So, give some to the neighbors and consume a little bit over the week, but start making out a plan for, a week from now on how you're actually going to maybe do some meal prepping and, get the good food ready for yourself so you're not just, walking by the cookies and the pastries and, trying to put in self-discipline when, quite frankly, you haven't up to this point. So get it out of the house.
So how much weight gain, how much of our obesity epidemic is based in candida or in fungus?
I don't know what the percent would be, but I would have to say it's so large and so unknown because of this, I would say mostly the antibiotic use, stress in people's life.
Right.
And, people are eating a bowl of cereal for breakfast, sweet cereal, and calling it a day. And, that is not going to be real good food. Kids aren't going to,
for your yeast, it's good.
behave
It's
well
good food for
in class
your yeast
with that food.
Your yeast are happy. Interestingly,
there are.
You got some happy yeast in there. Interestingly, they give cattle antibiotics to make them gain weight. Have you heard this?
I have heard this.
So do you think that has something to do with it?
I definitely do. I mean, once it starts to not make sense, then it's just illogical. And, bodies haven't changed over all these years, but our diets certainly have. And somehow, people are thinking that they can skate by without having to really take care of the body and feed it well. And, we used to eat out of our kitchen gardens, and, the food wasn't so pesticided, and, the soil wasn't killed off. And now we have a beautiful apple that has basically no taste. It's because there's no more minerals in it.
But, when you say that, it's kind of glib, because the fact is we cannot eat anywhere near like we ate even 100 years ago. Even if you eat chicken, and even if you eat produce and, vegetables and organic chicken, you're still, the chicken are getting breathing air that's different and eating food that was grown on different soil. And, everything's different. The apples aren't the same as they were 100 years ago. There's no food that's the same. We're subsisting on a completely different food supply.
This is a big beef of mine, and you're absolutely right. So I always say, since I can't change what's happening in this country and the planet, what I can do is make my choices better so that I'm going to get more from each thing that I do have presented to myself.
Right. I mean, you're not going to be able to eliminate the problem, but you can mitigate some of the damage, at least by paying attention and being conscious. And that's great. I'm glad you're in the world, Dr. Julie, spreading the good news about what we can do for our health. That's what we do on the Bright Side every day. Give out your website real quick, and then also the phone number.
Sure. It's naturesources.com, and the phone number is 1-800-827-7656. And don't forget to use the code RADIO. They'll give you 20% off your first order. And really, unless you're on antibiotics again, you're probably only going to need one order. But I would say if you're going to get it for yourself, then also treat your family, because you're going to see nice changes in the work that you're doing. You might as well handle them as well.
And then Colorex is that's their claim to fame, Nature Sources. Is that right? Or is that their big product? Okay, gotcha. And they're a distributor they distribute the Colorex.
That's right, yeah. And Colorex is, a New Zealand-based company. I've talked with them extensively, and, they really know what they're doing. And they also have, body washes in the Colorex line and different things that they can, add on to the Colorex to sort of handle many ways from different tendrils.
All right, good deal. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Dr. Gatza. Good luck with everything, and check out naturesources.com for this very interesting Horopita or Colorex. Thanks, Julie. Good to talk.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, bye. Have a great day. And that's all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Thanks for listening. Our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products. And also to sign up and join the Brightside Ben team, check out truthnourishment.com for our various shopping products, including enzymes and probiotics. And then truthtreatments.com for all our Truth Skin Health products. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.